What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. On this episode, we are going to absolutely get into some monster fish. It is going to be all primitive Polespear over in the Bahamas, and we have a hell of a crew with us. I'm going to introduce them later, and we're going to be diving some remote, beautiful ground. And I'm going to be using that new centerline Polespear by Headhunter. This trip is really going to put it to the test. I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks, do some voiceovers, and I hope you can hold your breath with me. Let's get out there and let's get after it. You guys, welcome to the voiceovers. You can see how I have that centerline Polespear hooked up to my belt reel. I'm using that slip tip with some Spectra line, and that thing is an absolute weapon. It's by Headhunter. If you're interested in it, link will be in the description below. Highly recommend it. It is an absolute weapon, and I'm just started using it this summer. This first day, we start off in about probably 50 feet, and there's a bunch of, you see this stuff in the water, it's a bunch of little jellyfish. I don't know what it was, but the currents were congregating and those things were kind of boiling at the surface. Luckily, we had our wetsuit on and those things weren't able to sting us, and that's one of the main reasons I use a wetsuit. Even if the water isn't cold, it's a good idea to use a wetsuit to keep the coral from brushing against you and stinging you, and also in case you run into jellyfish like that. So this first day, we're just gonna get stuff for dinner. These are silver snapper, also known as white margate. And normally I wouldn't shoot them, but a couple of guys at the dock, I know they want some. We need some fish to eat for dinner. And I took a kind of a half-hearted shot on that first attempt. I'm not really, paying them too much attention. They're kind of hanging around, and this next time I'm going to make sure I land a really good shot. Right in the head, just behind the gill plate, right where I was aiming. And I'm really hoping that this brings in more fish, or maybe other fish. But unfortunately it didn't. These white margates were just absolutely everywhere. So at least we got those to bring home for dinner.
Silver snapper. Poor man's mutton. Yeah, we'll give it to Sammy.
Now that white margate are on the menu, I go ahead and hold mine. Heading down here with Austin. Austin's gonna take a little crack at it. And again, we're all kind of just on the same mentality as like, oh, if we get one, we get one. If not, no big deal. Because we actually are gonna do some deep dropping shortly after this. But I'm going down, hanging out with Austin. He's using the Headhunter Nomad roller, which in my opinion, it's a little bit of a slower to start speed Polespear, but it's personal preference. It does pack a lot of punch, and it, like I said, it's good to try multiple different types of Polespears and find out which one exactly suits your needs. And right there, he just did kind of a half-hearted shot, ended up not landing the slip tip, but we do all end up getting some white margate on this drop, or on this little drift. And again, it's just, oh, there was Quinn. Quinn ended up getting one as well. But yeah, we're definitely not going hungry.
Fish, dude.
Here goes Austin taking another drop. And again, these white margate are everywhere. And I actually call them the poor man's mutton, because they really do look like muttons at first glance. He, just like me, he took a shot, kind of clipped the tail, just reloaded his Polespear, re-engaged his slip tip, just waiting and hoping for another shot on one. Sure enough, this guy, you can see he's just taking his time. Again, we're just like, if these things give us a shot, we'll take them. This one gives him a really good shot, so he lands the shot. You can see that the roller at the end of its reach, it has some extreme power. That's the only, in my opinion, I think that's the advantage of the roller. I use the traditional, and I also like to hook my belt reel to the band strap whenever I'm using that traditional band. And yeah, it's just something that I've been used to.
that one made you work. Dude, there's so many of them. You see all of them? Holy crap.
Queen snapper on the Polespear. You ever seen one of them, buddy? That's that green snapper, buddy. Give him some Pacifico. Captain Jack Spearo dove down and gassed the queen.
He almost got it away. Almost got it away.
Queen snapper, buddy. On the gap. Yeah, Jack. Look at that. Queen snapper on the gap.
Quinn owes me big time. I owe you for that one. Yeah.
We finished off day one getting those snapper, doing the deep dropping thing. I didn't want to bore you guys with that. Let me know if next time you want to see me doing some deep dropping or some kind of fishing. But I just like to stick to spearing. That's what I'm good at. But we did have a blast. Obviously, that queen snapper got off the line right at the boat, and I had to dive in and try to gaff it like 20, 30 feet down. But we're going to a shallow spot to warm up. You see, I'm using the Hawaiian sling, and I like to just mix it up, especially if I'm in a shallower area. It's easier for me to shoot and reload, but it is a little more of a challenge using the Hawaiian sling. The one I have is a custom one. It has a reel attached to it, so if I shot a bigger fish came by and I took a shot on it, I'd be able to let it peel out line, kind of like a belt reel. And also, if I'm doing some extra deep diving, it's always a good idea to use this because I don't want to run out of line on my belt reel. So I took a shot. You can see that it's a little harder, and if you can hit these mangrove snapper with a Hawaiian sling, you can definitely hit them with the Polespear. A nice snapper is cruising around. Quinn kind of chases after it, takes a long shot, comes up empty-handed, but this was just an area we can warm up at, and we have perfect conditions for the rest of the day.
Dude, that guy popped out. I was like, whoa! Yeah, that was a good one. That was like the biggest one I've seen.
We're now ready to head out to the deep reef, and this is when things start getting good. You guys, there's so much action coming at you in these next few clips that you're not going to want to go anywhere. It's unbelievable. I spot a cubera off in the distance. We had a little bit of chummies that we threw in once we hopped in, and he was kind of fired up on the chum, so that's always a good sign. They get a little distracted with the food, so they might make a slip up. I'm really hoping that this guy does it. Make a drop, not like on top of the snapper, but a little ways away. And as I was going down, he started to kind of head my direction. I'm tucking and hiding behind this rock, making a little bit of ruckus. And sure enough, you might be able to see him. Yeah, right there. I'm hoping he comes a little bit closer. I could have maybe took that shot. I could have lunged and took the shot, but the way he was acting, I was hoping he would come in a little bit closer. But of course, he just goes the opposite way, just like cuberas always do. But I do get multiple cuberas on this trip, and I'm excited to show you guys how I do it, my tactics, and every one of them is different. So stay tuned for that. Really hoping he kind of has a change of heart, turns my way, but I realize he's not coming in. Oh, and also me grunting brought in that yellow jack. You can see how well the grunting works. But I cut my losses on this guy. He kind of just skedaddled, moved along the reef. But that is a really good sign for the future upcoming fish.
I probably had a shot. That was close, right? He was going and he like hit a valley. Oh, that was so close.
We're still in the same area, and we drift a little bit to a different side of the reef. A cubera, again, is off in the sand. I'm decided to go ahead and head straight down to the reef. I don't know if you can see him yet, but he's starts to kind of head my direction as I'm descending, and I'm not like making a ton of noise, a ton of chaos as I'm going down. I'm slowly coasting. I realize, shoot, this guy's coming in hot. So I load up the spear, lay down to where I'm facing him, and I just stay tight to the reef, hoping he comes in. Sure enough, he's on a mission. He's very curious. Land a really good shot. That thing went super far up, and I always try to aim for the gill plate, because if you go headshots on these guys, it's very tough to land a shot. But that was the same tactic I used on the one before. Just made a drop, not on top of the fish, but a little ways away, do a little grunting, and he came right in perfectly.
Perfect eating size. Huh? I know, bro. I can't book it in. Cubera. It's good eating. Cubera. There you go, nice little perfect eating size cubera. These littler ones let you get away with a lot more. They're a little less wise. So this guy just came right into me once I hit the bottom. I dropped a little bit away from him, so it worked out. Yeek!
Literally, as I was giving that fish to the boat, I handed the fish and I said, hey, there's another cubera down here. So there was a smaller one, which is the one I see out in the sand, and then there was a bigger one behind it. Now, I do a totally different tactic. I just straight down dive bomb this thing. And sometimes they give you the shot. I just booked it, was flying, let it rip with that centerline Polespear, landed a shot, and this Polespear is really good for cuberas because it's so fast and quick. They usually dodge the spear, but not with this one. It hits so fast and so hard that they don't stand a chance, and that was another tactic I used to land my second cubera of the day. And now as I'm doing this, Quinn ended up taking a shot on another fish, and I'll switch to his camera in just a second.
When the boat comes by here, I'll help you. I'll help you. I hear you. Hold on.
So this is actually right before I shot my fish. You can see that open area. That was where my cubera came darting across. And the reason he came darting across was because Quinn was creating a lot of ruckus. So he starts to head down and kind of doing the same tactic. I don't know if he spotted a cubera beforehand, but he goes down to this rock, and I think he's just searching these holes, looking for grouper, looking for just anything. He pokes his head in here, nothing, but when he pulls his head up, he ends up spotting, I believe he spots a cubera off in the distance. Oh yeah, right there. Cubera got a little curious, came in to see what he was. He rocked him in. Again, he's using a roller, and he didn't tag his belt reel onto his Polespear. And I'm going to actually touch base on that in a second. But the thing ends up getting wrapped up, rocked up.
I got a cubera.
And that shortly after this is when I shoot my fish.
What? What? What's up?
So right after I shot my fish, I went ahead and handed Quinn my cubera, and he was pretty gassed from his dive before. There was a little bit of current, so it was kind of hard kicking. I was a little more rested up because I was at the surface kind of dealing with my fish, so I handed him my cubera, made a drop. And when you're kind of dealing with this, there's always a method behind it. Usually the Polespear is like kind of pressed into the reef a little bit, or there's, you know, the cable's wrapped around a little piece of coral. So the best thing to do is when you get down there, don't just panic and start like trying to rip the fish out. Kind of look at it methodically and see how things are wrapped up. It was just a little loop around this thing, and it was kind of lodged. The Polespear was lodged, and it was an easy extraction.
Twin cuberas. Yeah, I got them. There you go. Yeah, you're good. He's fine.
So I want to touch base while Quinn is shooting this mutton that came in on another spot. I want to touch base on having your Polespear attached to your belt reel. I've come to find out I always attach it to my belt reel because I've done multiple times where I'll forget. I'll shoot a fish and it'll be reaction like a big yellow jack in shallow water. I'll shoot one and then I'll go to let my, you know, just because it's a bigger fish, I go to let my spear go and it just takes off.
Nice, dude. Yeah.
So that's one thing I always suggest is always clip your belt reel on. Just, you know, whether you're shallow or deep, just get in a habit of doing it so you're always prepared to release your Polespear if you have to. So this spot, it was just this coral head in this area, and you're going to learn a lot on this dive. So I'm looking around. There isn't a whole lot. There's a couple of yellow jacks. Quint just shot that mutton. I was hoping another mutton would come in. As I'm heading down to this little crack, I'm like, oh, I might just check it to see if it's a cool cave or something. As I'm going down, I don't know if you can hear it, but you can hear these little rumblings. And as I get closer, I'll let you listen and you'll see what I see. That is a 50-pound cubera, and you see me holding him, like try to keep him from going into the reef to mess up my injector rod. I'm keeping him off the reef as much as I can, and once I shot, I just horsed him because he was going to go back in a cave, get rocked up. It was going to be an absolute nightmare, but I kept him out as long as I could until I knew the guys were there to help me. And once that happened, the fish kind of gave up, knew he was out of his home, and taking him to the surface. And what an absolute fish, especially on one dive. Absolutely insane.
Yes! Yes! Woo! On one dive, bro! Woo! Bro! That's a proper one. On one dive? Bro, I still got my injector rod. No, hey, hold on, just hang back. I got a gun and bleed him and shit. That's a good one. It's like a 40-pounder. That's a good one. I heard him. I loaded up because I heard him as I was going down. What do you say?
Let's go, baby.
Bro, one dive. I heard him down in the wreck. Bro!
Wow. Let's go, boy.
Guys, that was wild. Personal biggest cubera I've ever shot. Not only did I shoot him, but landed him on one dive. I don't think my injector rod is even bent. Dude, that center line rocked him and I just was fighting him. It was awesome. It was like a little playground in there that I was just like getting to drug around.
That was so sick. That was so epic. One dive, one fish, and yeah, just a trophy.
Dude, that was sick.
Yeah, I'm glad these guys could experience that with me. That was amazing. Kind of halfway up, he just is just chilling because he's like, I'm beat.
That's like a once in a lifetime land. Like
yeah.
You'll never land a fish that big in one dive.
No way, dude. Usually you shoot them and they just go, but I knew that the fish was so big, I needed to like shoot him and just at least hold him from going up in there because I'm sure that cave like goes way up in there. But woo, epic. We're gonna get back in, try to spear some more snapper. So let's get down below.
Yep.
What a freaking adrenaline rush that was, but we're gonna get right back into the actions. We still have a ton of amazing spearing to do. We get into some crazy cool fish, and this is Quint's footage. And this is gonna be a different fish than what you guys are used to. Well, than what you've seen so far, not what you're used to, but he goes and makes a drop. A nice yellow jack comes cruising in, and again, I don't know if you guys know, but these things are amazing table fare. They taste delicious. And they're not a crazy tough fish to spear. Do a little bit of grunting. This thing comes right in, lands a really good shot. And I don't know, I think he has his belt reel attached. And this is like a prime example why. If it wasn't, he would have probably let his spear go on accident. You see that thing would have just ripped his spear across the bottom. And it would have taken a little bit extra time. Or the potential of the fish getting sharked instead of you pulling it right to you. So honestly, if you guys take something away from this video, at least know to always hook your Polespear to your belt reel, just so you know that you'll always land the fish and you can always horse them up if you need to away from sharks. Austin goes ahead and makes a drop like right after Quinn shot his fish. Nice Spearo mackerel. It was starting to get really fishy. And you got to keep your head on a swivel when it comes to these mackerels. They usually do one little pass and then they take off. Unless you have a throw flasher, usually you can get an extra shot on them. But the thing came in immediately. I did a little grunting. Austin saw it, made a quick drop, landed a really good shot in this Spearo mac. And again, we're just mixing up the bag, mixing up what kind of fish we got to take home. And yeah, it's looking really good. The box is looking really healthy so far for the day. So we just keep bouncing around coral reef to coral reef. Quinn ends up making a drop on a really big mutton. I honestly thought it was a cubera because the way it was acting. It was kind of just like cruising around the reef. He gets down tight to the reef, so he kind of does like a little ambush on the fish so he doesn't attack it from the surface. Waits for it to turn this corner. Goes ahead and extends right before it got out of sight. Landed a really good shot, and I knew that was a little bit of a longer dive, so I'm right above him. I go down. I know he's trying to keep it out of the reef, just waiting for reinforcements, and here I come. I grab his line. He lets his belt reel loose so he can get to the surface, and I'm still fighting the fish, keeping it from getting tangled up in the reef. Really good to buddy dive so you land fish very effectively and quickly so they don't get wrapped up and create an entire mess, and then you're there for longer down there on the reef trying to extract these fish.
Okay. Did you look good in the reflection?
Yeah.
Dude, I saw you line up on that. What'd you say?
Huh?
What were you pointing at? Just all those fish?
So cool.
Yeah. I love that.
Out of that.
Oh, so beautiful. Woo.
So we saw all that life on the reef, and we decided to reset, and Quinn yells out, AP, AP. So I get my throw flasher, I chuck it the direction the fish were swimming away from us at, and then sure enough, we swam right into it. I know Quinn spotted the AP first, so I go ahead and grunt to him, let him take the shot. And I go ahead and grab my throw flasher, and I'm glad I did because I do land an epic fish here in just a second, so do not go anywhere. Right after he gets his fish up, I spot one. I spot something, and a kind of a first time thing for me while hunting. Again, all the commotion, you see that fish down there kind of kicking up the bottom, swimming around. It's bringing in, obviously, muttons. And that's the kind of fish I am about to get into, and something kind of crazy happens, so make sure you watch this. As Quinn has that fish on the surface, this big mutton came cruising in. I make a quick drop. He starts to get a little skittish, is on this out, and it looks like I totally missed, but no, I did not. You see that blood trail? That freaking center line just rocketed and clipped his throat. And again, that was why I was aiming for the gill plate. There's some nurse sharks, so I know they're gonna get fired up, so I need to make sure I do a breathe up and try to get
he's right in this hole.
Try to make another drop and get a spear in this fish, because it is a very good fish, and I know he's... So when this kind of stuff happens, you don't want to take your eyes off the prize, because the fish could, you know, when they're hurt like this, they could just slowly swim out of the hole and into another hole. Luckily, this fish was bleeding pretty bad. I go down because this is where I saw the fish enter, like right where that nurse shark is facing. And I know the nurse shark is there because it has the smell of blood, and it knows that there's potential eating opportunity here. So I'm cruising down. This little crack was literally where I saw the fish go into. And as I had the Polespear drawn, I don't know what the condition of the fish is. He may still be really fired up, spooked. But I go down to hit this crack, and I'm looking in here, and I don't see anything. I don't see any blood. I don't see anything. And I'm surprised that nurse shark isn't getting after it. So after I take a look, I'm like, shoot, he's gone. He must have like went down the reef. But as I start to head up, I look in here, nothing there. Once I get like a bird's eye view, I look off in the distance, up ahead of me. You can't see it, but there was a lot of blood in the water. So I'm assuming that the fish is over that direction. It's more to my right, like right over there. Yeah, right there where that barracuda is. There's like a little bit of cloudy blood right there. And I look and I see the mutton off in like a little crack over there. So that's something you can always look for. If you stuck a fish good, always keep an eye out for a blood trail, because they do show blood. And now that I know I spotted the fish, I already took a dive. We are on the little bit of a deeper side.
Yo, I need help with this button real quick.
And I didn't want to push it, so I waited for Quinn to come back and hop in the water with me. I didn't want to make it drop with nobody around, so because everybody kind of drifted off the spot. I was by myself, so I wanted to make sure I was diving safe. Quinn hopped in the water, started swimming towards me, so I knew I was going to be good. He was watching me. He knew what I was doing because he saw me with the initial stick. But you see, I go down. That thing was almost half dead in that crack right there. And I want to make sure I land a shot. And I'm not sure if that's the fish. It almost looks like it's sleeping. But I think it just bled out and died. Like right there. Which is crazy because, I mean, I'll show you where I hit him when we get in the boat. It is unbelievable how the shot that I did took this fish out. But right now I thought I just stoned the fish, because I mean it is a stone shot, but either way, got this beautiful mutton, taking it home, and it is my first one of the day, and I've been dying to get a really nice mutton. Got the cuberas for sure, but I was dying to get one of these nice muttons. So nice stone shot, and I cannot wait to show you guys on the boat where I initially hit this fish. It's unbelievable. I'm looking for the spot and I can't even find it.
I feel like this isn't the one I hit initially. I don't think so. There's a lot of blood down there. Yeah, I saw one cruise along here. I don't think there's a lot of blood down there. You see it? I think he's in there somewhere. And no, this was him. This was him. Finally got button snapper, and I let that spear fly, and look what I hit. You see this little hole? I don't know if you can see it. See that little hole? That was my first shot, and that took him down. You see that? It's a beauty. Because once I hit him, that like hit his jugular, and it just drained blood, and just I found him like a big pile of blood, and I just found him dead, like in the sand. And he may have been alive, but I didn't want to take chances, so I shot him right there, straight through the top, and didn't even move. So he may have already been dead, but I don't know. But isn't that crazy? That little tiny, I don't even think it engaged my slit tip. It probably stuck him like this much, and it was just enough, and it just took a second, and then he went, and then it was just like a trail of blood. Yeah, and he just bled out. Yeah. So you never know, dude. Let him fly. He was definitely out of range too, and I was like just ripping it. And then Quinn went ahead and took care of business.
Got my yellowtail.
Dude, that's a good one, man.
I just love yellowtail.
Snapper trifecta.
Snapper trifecta.
Dude, we killing it,
always
man.
getting up.
Killing it.
You guys, I'm all about learning and lessons. So I had my belt reel kind of hanging off the side of the boat, and when we were going, the prop got it, and it just wrapped up all of my belt reel line, which, you know, was that of us untangling it. And while we were doing that, it led us to a pack of freaking dolphin, and these guys were just frolicking around us. And this is the kind of stuff that I live for in the Bahamas. We started to dive this area, and these porpoises literally would not leave us alone. They were just swimming around with us. They had to be like part human, but I'm gonna let you these clips play out, and you won't believe how friendly these fish are with us. I mean, it's incredible.
And what did you think of that dolphin, dude?
Dude, that was freaking sick, man.
Aren't you glad you got in?
Dude, I'm so happy I got in.
Those
Those things are one of us, man. You can tell.
They know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But those dolphin are amazing down there. Just swimming.
Dude, that was so
swimming
cool.
That was so awesome.
Dude, I couldn't believe that, man.
I was like, Andy, you gotta get in the water, dude. These things are just chilling. They were just hanging out. We were just diving around, and they were just
chill.
dude, probably
so
for like
social,
what,
too.
20 minutes?
Dude,
Easy 20 minutes just hanging out with us, diving with us. Oh, it was so fun. We couldn't even shoot
having
fish.
fun, man.
They were having fun. That was
What was it
amazing.
At this point, it has been such a long day. Quinn was like, hey, last dive, last spot, let's go. So I was like, okay. So it was just Quinn and I hopping in the water. We hop in on this deeper deeper reef. We're not really seeing a whole lot. A lot of fish life in the mid-water column. But as I go down, I see a nice mutton. I'm waiting for, this guy's giving me the tail wag. I'm waiting for a good shot. Was able to clip a perfect shot in this fish. I'm horsing him off the reef. And of course, like a good dive buddy, Quinn ends up coming down. And when I'm fighting these things, I fight it as much as I can until I need to get some air. And then that's when the belt reel comes in handy and I start letting line out. And I end up being really good on this dive. Once the fish comes up halfway to the surface, it's barrel trauma and his bladder starts to inflate and he heads up to the surface. What a fish to finish the day. Absolutely stoked on this one.
That's a good button.
Dude, his bladders, yeah, barrel trauma. That's a good one, dude. That's a good one. Dude, Quinn talked me into it last dive of the day, and dude, we come up with this bad boy. I was going against, actually, I was like, all right, yeah, whatever, I'll send one more with you. Deeper drop, I think we were in like 70-ish.
Yeah.
And then
75.
dude, this guy started giving me the tail wag, and luckily I had like just enough GoPro juice left and was able to rip into him, have him on video. Shot where I can hit. I was trying to spine him, but
Yeah.
I thought that was close. I put a hurt in on him though, and then the barrel trauma from him coming up just like made him go belly up, and dude, it's all she wrote. That's like the size of my torso.
Yeah, that's a stud.
That's a good one.
13, 14 pounder on the
13 to
scale.
14 pounds. We got him on the scale. Not
Literally,
gutted everything.
like, dude, the way we fought it on the way up.
Yeah,
like both of us just horsing it up. Made
Yeah.
that thing feel like a yellowtail.
Dude,
like
it was epic. Dude, epic dive. Epic last dive of the trip.
Told you.
Stoked.
One more dive. One more dive.
Oh, that was so incredible. But we have got plenty of fish. We are actually gonna start sending it back home, and I will touch base with you guys when we do a little catch and cook with some of the fish we got. We are back in action in my kitchen, and I'm gonna cook up something really special for you guys. I went ahead and got that cubera, diced it up into little chunks, and all these chunks are about like an inch by inch, a couple centimeters by a couple centimeters, wherever you're from. This recipe is extremely simple. So we're gonna take all these, our desired amount of fish nuggets, depending on how much we'll eat. Go ahead, throw them in a bag, and in this bag I have some rice flour, and then some gluten-free panko breadcrumbs, and a little bit, and then I also have some of the Dano seasoning. Honestly, you can use any type of fish seasoning, salt and pepper would even work. Put it in a Ziploc bag, mix it up, and I reuse this blend all the time. So you just go ahead, I don't coat them with anything before I put them in this bag, and I just basically sift it around, make sure all the nuggets are fully coated. That's a little easy way to make sure you get everything coated. And then over here, I have cast iron skillet with just some sunflower seed oil. I put it on medium high heat, and I'm going to basically just put these little nuggets in there and just let them boil around. I put about that much, maybe like a ½ inch of oil in there, so they won't just sit on the bottom. They'll actually float and move around. So I think this is fully ready. The way you can check is get a little bit of your seasoning. Ooh, and it's starting to bubble. So that's really good. And then now you just go one by one, slowly dip them in. It could be a little hotter.
but I'm spacing them just a little bit, little tiny bit of space in between. And by the time I put the last one in, it'll probably almost be time to flip. I might need to go 2 batches of this because I have a lot of nuggets and because we are super hungry. So I don't want to overcrowd the pan, so we're gonna have to do 2 batches. I'm gonna give these probably about maybe a minute or maybe a little longer, and then I'm just gonna grab some normal tongs and flip them. You can see the edge where it's starting to get a little golden brown. Some of them in the middle are cooking a little quicker. Some of the pieces are a little thinner. Yeah, look at that, golden brown. So I'm gonna flip every one of these as neatly as I can. All right, we got it all done, and we got them all in this bowl, and I'm gonna do a little trick. So I have everything kind of soaked into the paper towel, and now I just slide it on out, full of grease. This goes in the trash, and then look at all these crispy nuggets I have. And I'm gonna get these seasonings. So we got organic, well, you don't have to have organic, but I have soy sauce, some teriyaki sauce, some squeeze paste ginger, and then this is the magic ingredient, some sweet chili sauce. But you put like maybe about, all right, that's good. Maybe like a tablespoon of that. Do some soy sauce, like a little spritz of that, a little spritz of the teriyaki, and then we're gonna get some ginger paste. And then I put it in a bowl so you can just get it and just move everything around like this. And it honestly looks like orange chicken from Panda Express. And then I went ahead, my mom went and cooked me some freekeh, which is like a little, it's like a little special grain. And we got some edamame, mushrooms, and there's a little bit of salt and pepper in there. And I'm just going to pour this out on top of the freekeh. Oh God, I almost just ended it. I'm gonna pour this out over the freekeh. So it's like an Asian style fish. Looks so good. And it smells delicious. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix it just a little bit so I get the freekeh with some fish. And I had this the other night and I had to redo this. It is ridiculous. So I'm gonna get a little tiny bit, like a little edamame and a nice chunk of chicken. So here we go. Or chicken. I'm calling it chicken because it looks like it.
It has the crunch still, even with the seasoning on it, like that, the sauce all over it. That is so good. It tastes like some kind of Asian cuisine with chicken, but the chicken is the softest chicken you've ever had. Zero fish flavor. And everything just complements one another on this. This is so good. You guys, I'm starving. I'm gonna dig into this. I hope you guys enjoyed the non-stop action of this video. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And also, if you wanna do a little bit extra, consider becoming a YouTube member. I have a few members out there already. You guys are absolute legends. And that is one of the best ways to support the channel. Keeps the motivation high, everything goes right back into the videos. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next week for another adventure. Later.